How did Meghan Sussex become a content factory for the tabloids? It sounds like a simple question, but to answer it, we need to go back, way back, before Queen Elizabeth II's death, before Prince Philip's death, before the headlines, the hashtags, and the 24-hour outrage cycle. We need to go back to the institution that made it all possible. In 2018, Meghan marries Prince Harry. At first, the story writes itself. Royal wedding, global audience, modern monarchy, new duchess. Even though there were many hurdles along the way involving various family members on both sides, which we do not have time to get into, the point is that the story was sweet, simple, and not convoluted to tell. But by 2019, the fairy tale curdles. The post-wedding glow does not just fade, it flips and turns into media backlash. And the machine that built the dream, and some would say the nightmare, starts feeding on the wreckage.
For those reasons, it brings me great sadness that it has come to this. The decision that I have made for my wife and I to step back is not one I made lightly. It was so many months of talks after so many years of challenges. And I know I haven't always gotten it right, but as far as this goes, there really was no other option.
In 2020, Harry and Meghan announced they were stepping back as senior working royals, and the press treated that exit like a declaration of war. Suddenly, every part of their decision became content. Where they would live, who would pay for security, whether they had betrayed the Queen, and whether Meghan had planned it all along. The story was no longer just that they had left. The story became that they had to be punished for leaving. That media storm did not die down. False narratives hardened into accepted truths, and by 2021, Harry and Meghan sat down with Oprah to answer a machine that had spent years speaking over them. After Oprah, the media machine did not slow down. It adapted. The funeral of Prince Philip, the Platinum Jubilee, the Queen's death, the Netflix documentary, Spare, and eventually King Charles's coronation all became fresh material for another Sussex news cycle. A familiar pattern kept repeating. Harry and Meghan could appear, speak, stay silent, attend, not attend, or simply exist. And the press would turn it into outrage material aimed at the couple.
Still feel controlled by them, the media? Do they still have a hold on you feeling controlled?
No, they're desperately trying to control the narrative because they know that if they lose it, then the truth will come out.
By the time the coronation arrived in 2023, Meghan did not even need to be there. Her absence became the story. The Daily Express published 44 headlines in 24 hours about Harry, Meghan, and the coronation cycle. One outlet, one day, 44 headlines. That is how the machine works. Presence becomes headline material. Absence becomes headline material. Silence becomes headline material. Then, the same press points to the noise it created and says, look how much drama they cause. Since leaving as working royals, Harry and Meghan have not disappeared. They have simply stopped doing public service on the palace's terms. They pay their own way, fund their own protection, and no longer rely on the sovereign grant for royal duties, yet they continue showing up where they are invited. Nigeria, Colombia, Jordan, and then Australia, a realm where King Charles is head of state. The work has stayed consistent. Veterans, mental health, women and girls, digital safety, frontline aid, and community support. But the press did not frame it that way. Instead, every warm welcome became a provocation, every invitation became a scandal, and every successful trip became another excuse for meltdown coverage. That is the machine. Harry and Meghan do the work, the tabloids chase the clicks, then pretend the Sussexes are the ones creating the drama. In 2026, Harry and Meghan took that post-royal model to Australia, a Commonwealth realm where King Charles is head of state. The trip mixed service, sport, and community. They visited the Royal Children's Hospital in Melbourne, met women's support organizations, honored veterans, joined Invictus Australia on Sydney Harbour, attended a rugby match, and met survivors and first responders from the Bondi Beach terror attack. Meghan also appeared at the Her Best Life retreat in Sydney, where the press tried to reduce a women's event into a money scandal, while ignoring the fact that people paid to be there and wanted to hear from her. But the tabloids saw something else. A traffic opportunity. The Daily Mail's coverage became so aggressive that it was accused of breaching embargoed itinerary details and damaging trust with press briefings.
Yes. I mean, they've got embargoes. They're trying to embargo the Australian press. 2 American grifters embargoing the Australian press in their country. Who do they think they are?
Exactly.
Proof does not always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like a chart, a number, a search result, or a gap so wide that the story starts telling on itself. This is where the Meghan hate industrial complex becomes measurable. By 2019, the imbalance was already visible. A YouGov poll found that Meghan Sussex ranked far ahead of other royals when people were asked who had been treated least favorably by the media. That matters because this was not just a feeling among Sussex supporters online. The wider public could see it too. That same year, 72 female MPs signed an open letter supporting Meghan and condemning the tone of the coverage, including what they described as outdated colonial undertones in parts of the press. So by this point, the warning signs were there. Meghan was not simply being covered as a new royal. She was being framed as a problem, and that framing was becoming one of the press's most profitable stories. By 2020, the tone had become impossible to ignore. The data showed Meghan receiving far more negative headlines than positive ones, and that matters because coverage does not just report on a person. It teaches the audience how to read them. At that point, the press cycle stopped looking like normal scrutiny and started looking like mass production. Meghan could be turned into a story about race, class, gender, family, fashion, protocol, motherhood, money, security, or loyalty, with each topic filtered through the same suspicious lens. That is where Benjamin Ryan's comments are useful. Ryan is a writer who said he was once paid to produce SEO-driven news digests about Meghan. In 2026, he wrote that after reading around 2,000 articles trash-talking her, he never once saw a reliable source go on the record to say Meghan had actually done something bad. That is the point. The machine did not need evidence strong enough to hold up. It needed volume, repetition, and a name that kept people clicking. By 2025, the economic logic became impossible to hide. Even the Daily Mail's own reporting acknowledged that Harry and Meghan drove huge search interest. They were not, as the critics always say, irrelevant. They were searchable gold. That is the contradiction at the center of the coverage. The press tells readers that Harry and Meghan do not matter, while using their names to generate traffic, debate, produce affiliate clicks, and endless royal content. In a media economy where search traffic matters, Meghan is not just a subject. She is a keyword. And keywords make money. That is why Mike Wright's New World piece matters. It names the contradiction clearly. The Daily Mail presents Meghan as irrelevant while building a constant stream of stories around her. The paper does not cover her because she has no value. It covers her because she has too much value to ignore. Over 19 days in April 2026, the Mail published 70 stories using Meghan as a hook. During the Australia trip, 3 Meghan-focused stories appeared in 12 minutes. One was news. One was an attack. One was fashion traffic. That is the factory in real time. Look closer, and the pattern becomes impossible to miss. The machine creates the noise, measures the reaction, then uses that reaction as proof that Meghan is the problem. It is a loop. Outrage creates traffic, traffic creates revenue, revenue creates more outrage. So the question is not just, how did Meghan become a content factory? The real question is how much damaging noise one media machine can manufacture, then blame on the woman it keeps turning into a headline. And this is where Meghan's own words become most significant.
And that's a really hard place to come to terms with, but that's the truth. So if you can really compartmentalize it and go, oh, right, there is a very, very powerful machine, and it's all about generating income. Those stories aren't just appearing because it's fun. Clickbait has a huge financial implication. And so if I'm part of an SEO and that gets them more clickbait, then yes, they're incentivized to churn out as many stories, false or damaging or whatnot, to feed the beast because that's paying them. And I think a lot of people forget the economic element of it. And I think from my standpoint, that's why I don't look at it. It would be very hard to see anything about yourself that isn't true. But equally, it's not me that they're talking about. It's some caricature they've had to create to get clicks. And I'm very clear on the difference between the two.
If you made it this far, I truly appreciate your time and support. And if you enjoyed this video essay, please like, share, and subscribe for more media breakdowns, royal analysis, and stories that look beyond the headline. Your support helps this channel grow, and it helps Feminegra keep making work that challenges the narrative. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.